Right, to the other end of everything, Liverpool, of course, winning their first bit of silverware of the season. They could, in theory, do the quadruple. As it stands, they're 1 point clear of Manchester City in second, 2 points clear of Arsenal. Let's just take a look at how the bookies have this set first, shall we? According to the bookies, it is Manchester City, then Liverpool, then Arsenal, with regards to favourites for the title. Would you agree, Craig, in that order?
No. And you know, since the beginning of the season, I've been adamant that I felt Arsenal are going to be the strongest challengers to Man City. To Man City, and they had this wobble, you know, around the turn of the year. But boy, they're back strong. They are back really strong. Arguably playing the best of any team in the league at the moment. And I've always felt it was kind of nip and tuck with them at Liverpool, as City are still the team to beat. But I felt Arsenal just had a smidge in front, and clearly the way they're playing is not going to change my mind. And also, we talked about it with Stevie yesterday on the show. That's a really bad injury list. And sometimes injury lists are injury lists, but it depends who it is. Yeah. Sometimes you've got a big injury list, but it's not key players. These are key players. And if they don't get Salah, Szoboszlai, Nunez, and these guys of this ilk back sharpish, they're just not going to hang with these two teams. I just can't see it.
Do you agree, Kieran?
I do. I think it's a shame for them, obviously, because, you know, I mean, the story of them winning the league on Klopp's last year it looks beautiful, but
like Craig says, kind of those top four, isn't it? That you could do. Like with the others,
well, you could even get away with Trent Alexander-Arnold at the moment.
Yeah.
But the top five, because Curtis Jones has done a pretty good job.
Right, he has.
The top five, you need 3 or 4 of them.
Yes.
Back sharpish.
Yeah. And there's no breaks either for their schedule is so busy. Obviously, they've got Southampton in the FA Cup, and then they've got Forest on Saturday, and then the Europa League, and then Manchester City. It just goes on.
And I think that's why when we saw, I mean, Klopp is always quite an animated coach on the sidelines, but I think even yesterday at the end, if you saw the shots of him, I wouldn't say bewilderment, but I think he couldn't believe it. He said, we've just sort of plastered this together, and then we've had the issues on the field, and I've had to throw all these kids, and we've still done it, which is testament to them. But I think he knows, you know, as good as all these boys are, they're all buying into it, this Liverpool thing. But you need more than that when you see what Arsenal and City have got.
And the problem is, Mario, is the frequency of these games, isn't there? There's no time to catch your breath or try and get recoveries going for these injured players.
No, definitely. And also the way he is, you understand, the guys already highlighted. But Klopp is also a motivator. He's very good in motivation. Regardless if we're talking about only the skill that he has of making you play great football, he also makes you believe and motivates you and makes you understand you can. Because he knows how quick, like how he highlighted, come on, Salah, Szoboszlai, you know, those are Nunez, you know, all those guys are also the guys that he normally picks, eh? We can call them those names, but there's also the guys that he normally starts. And he wants them because that is the only way, one, because of the story of leaving, you understand, in a glory way. We have to go back, maybe we're calling one of the greats, you understand, Ferguson. When he left, he won the league for his club. And him being there's no reason why he said, yeah, this is the biggest trophy or the best trophy that I ever won. No, what he actually means is like, this is my first trophy. At least I'm not walking out of the door with nothing because I'm planning to bring even more to you guys. So I think he got this one. I can almost, the way he is, he's such a winner. If you go back today or tomorrow, not even tomorrow, today, he's already thinking about what's my next move and what is the next thing I'm going to win. He's not worried about like, oh, Carabao Cup this. No, Champions League, he's definitely going to guarantee his club to be in there next season. So now I want to win the biggest one. And the biggest one is the league. And of course, people talk about the Champions League, but the league is where his main focus will be on.
What's the Europa League, obviously, for...
You mean if you took Saka, Odegaard, Rice out of the Arsenal side for 6 weeks, would I sit here and say, I think... no, I'd say I think they're stuffed. No. The only team out of the two, Liverpool, the only team out of the three, that if you took 3 or 4 players out, that you think, all right, they might get through that, is Man City.
Yeah.
I don't think...
You throw someone like Rodri in that conversation, and I think that could...
But they did manage without Haaland for a period, and De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Do you think Liverpool? I mean, I don't think Liverpool are going to get enough results unless they get these guys
But
back.
I suppose you look at that fixture list, they're winnable games with even kind of half of a team missing, with the exception of Manchester City. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, I actually really like these young boys. I think that they're brilliant. The way they've stepped up in that cup final is, outstanding to see that. To ask them to go on and, finish off at the business end of a season and deliver a Premier League trophy and maybe a Europa League trophy is a big ask.
Yeah.
It's a big ask.
And like Craig says, you're going to have teams who are going to go for them a lot more than we saw, obviously, Chelsea test them in extra time.
I mean, that'll be his biggest achievement, I think. Jurgen Klopp.
Absolutely.
If he was somehow to get through a season where he loses, and everybody has injuries, I understand that, but where the announcement is he's leaving, because they had to announce it because it was going to be leaked. Matip is out for the year with, I think it's a cruciate. Both full-backs were out. The two left-backs were out at one point. Endo goes to the Asian Cup after he's been brilliant. Salah goes to the African Cup of Nations.
Gets injured.
Unbelievable.
Then he's got all these injuries. They're still in there. They've just won the Carabao Cup. If he was to come through this and somehow have Liverpool top of the perch at the end of the year, I think it would eclipse by some distance, bearing in mind how good City and Arsenal are, by some distance anything he's achieved at that football club.
And that's a key point, isn't it? This is a three-horse race, which we haven't seen for a while, which makes it harder for all of those involved. How have Arsenal found that extra gear? What's clicked? What's made them so good over recent weeks?
I don't think that they've changed too much their philosophy. I don't think they've changed it at all, actually. They're conceding less goals.
That Jorginho's played in midfield, and that's allowed, Havertz to push further forward, but Rice also to push a bit further. Have a wee bit more of a... Correct.
Yeah.
But now Odegaard's got a bit of help, because Rice can do both jobs.
Exactly.
He can do both.
Exactly. Rice and Odegaard next to each other, they provide more than enough for Jorginho to sit there and control the game from deeper up at the pitch. He can do that by himself because he is that good when he's on form. So the additions of Jorginho at the moment and Kieran have really helped the balance of the team, I think, and it's also, Havertz has hit a little bit of form, which,
Well, he looks more comfortable in the front three.
Yeah. Arsenal just look brilliant, don't they, at the moment, Mario?
Yeah, no, they look really good. What the guys already highlighted, I think what Arteta did really well, he just took a couple of things that he really needed to get his team. Like you highlighted Rice. Okay, what was the biggest problem you understand last season? He was kind of like missing a person in his team that could carry anything. Whatever happens to his team, I'm ready to take it on in the sense of responsibility. Because at this time last season, they started to crumble. And now they have that strength in the middle. Even if whatever happens now, sometimes he has that little flow, because it's also from West Ham stepping up to Arsenal. It's a step up for him. But it doesn't matter. He can handle that. Then you go to all, like Havertz. We're talking about Havertz. Remember when Havertz left Chelsea? He had a big problem, because people were like having a go at him. And now he's part of the guy that helps Saka and Martinelli, because those guys are all playing on influence in the sense of they don't have to plan, because they are so smart in playing football. Look at Saka, how many goals he's scoring. The kid is unbelievable. 5 games in a row? He is just making it feel like it's just normal for him. You understand? And when he takes you on, the worst part as a fullback, and Kieran can tell me, when you are one-on-one with a winger, and a winger is that confident, he got pace and skill, and then he takes him on the inside and he scores that goal, but you know that you're in trouble when he runs at you. And I think that is one of the key things that they have on both sides. Martinelli and Saka are both very dangerous, and when they're in top form, I think this Arsenal team is just, then you're going back to my time, the Thierry Henry and the guys that were unstoppable. Yeah. The Overmars or you guys were unstoppable. It was like sometimes you play against them and you go like, dudes, are you guys going to take a break? And I think that is what the wingers are doing right now. They don't take a break because they're almost competing with each other in the sense of, I want you to do well, but I want to do well myself too. And I think that's where Arsenal is at the moment.
Seemed that little break in the Middle East did them pretty well.
Yeah, hot weather.
Actually, both Saka and Martinelli went through a little period
Yes.
They just went a little flat.
Yeah.
Martinelli more than Saka, but Saka just lost that edge a little bit. It looks like he's clearly got it back, and that's a huge bonus for them. I think one of the big questions has always been, can they make it all the way through the season without, if Gabriel Jesus is injured, he's out of form or whatever, would they buy in January? And I think it's been crystal clear that he feels with false nines and Havertz and maybe Nketiah or Trossard coming in that
He's got enough.
That's the way they're going to go.
Yeah.
Now, it's been, the last 2 or 3 games, been the best team in England, clearly. But it's not quite March yet, and there's a lot of water to go under the bridge. And they were great for a long period last year, and then it kind of fell apart at the end. Now, it fell apart, you could argue, because they started losing players to injury, particularly at the back. But that might happen, and they have to deal with it. But I'd be feeling good about where I am if I was Arsenal at the moment, but they just need to keep the hammer down. They cannot all of a sudden think, oh, this is going to be easy between now and the end of the year. It is not.
And of course, in that Arsenal-Liverpool sandwich are the defending champions, who weirdly enough haven't been playing that well, but still getting the points, are still only 1 now adrift of Liverpool at the top.
If I was to say, on current form,
Yes.
on current form, I would say Arsenal.
I think you could have Arsenal and Liverpool with regards to the style of football they're playing, the way they're destroying their opponents. But this is City, Craig, and this is City who've got experience of winning.
Until one of those teams puts their hand up in May and says, we're going to win this, and City are playing catch-up, and it's looking at... I'm not backing against them.
No, you can't.
I'm not.
It's a huge month, isn't it, for City? Obviously, Manchester Derby, and then you go to Anfield, then you host Arsenal.
Cool.
It really is huge, isn't it? Once we're sitting here on April the 1st, I think we'll have a much better idea.
Well, currently the Manchester Derby's not much to worry about.
Oh, indeed. That's true.
I would imagine.
True.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, those 3 games there in March are pretty vital.
And you couldn't go into this, Copenhagen they'll take care of. You couldn't go into that game at Anfield, being Liverpool, with anything close to the team that finished yesterday, and it would be a mess if City were at full strength. But I would imagine by March the 10th, it's not that far away, it's just a couple of weeks.
No, I know.
That you'd hope I'd hope from a neutral point of view in the league, because it's been so good with that top 3, with the odd flirt from Tottenham and Villa, that Liverpool players, they get enough of them back that we can have I would call it a fair fight to the end. It's fair, whatever it is. Yeah. But I would like to see that, and then whoever's the last man standing is standing. But I've got a feeling Liverpool's problems with their fitness issues might just run a little bit deeper.